Today we're going to be getting ready for Thanksgiving, which is just a week away. And I have a special guest, Mike Warren.
Hello.
Who actually got me started doing this cooking show when we did the business profile already last April, which is 6 months ago or so. So anyway, so Mike didn't have anything to do this afternoon, and he decided to come over and lend me a hand. So one of the favorite dishes that we're going to have for Thanksgiving are sweet potatoes. Do you like sweet potatoes?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, when I was growing up, my mother used to buy, they are actually called canned yams. I don't know if your mother ever bought canned yams, but they just really aren't quite as good, I don't think, as the real sweet potatoes that you actually boil and, and cook. So a couple of years ago, we decided to try a recipe, which I had eaten about 30 years ago when we went to some friends. And so we're going to show you how to make this sweet potato casserole. We're going to start out by boiling a pound of sweet potatoes, which are already boiled. And you'll want to cut them into about 1-inch slices. And Mike is going to start by mashing them. And the recipe actually calls for mashing them with an electric mixer, but sometimes just the hand mixer goes just fine.
This is the way to go.
Absolutely.
That's what my grandmother would tell me anyway.
What's your favorite part about Thanksgiving?
Football and pumpkin pie.
Okay, you gonna watch the Packers this year and hope that maybe they actually pull out a win?
I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one of those years.
Yeah.
So mash these up real good,
Okay, so we're gonna
like they were
mash them
potatoes?
Like they're potatoes. That's good though, because we're gonna add the extra things in there. And I'm gonna put my glasses on so you can just leave that in there, because we are going to add 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/4 of a cup, actually 1/8 of a cup of evaporated milk. I'm doing a half recipe instead of the full recipe. We're going to do about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt, so we'll just put a little bit of salt in there. And the recipe says that now you should mash everything, and after you get it mashed, then we're going to add 1 egg. Okay?
So mash again.
So mash it very well.
Like really
well.
Okay.
And that's where if you actually do use the electric mixer, it comes out
so it's almost,
really well.
Yeah, it's not
like puree, the puree almost.
Yeah. Get all the chunks out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The recipe also calls for about 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and my kids, we ate it the first year with all the sugar in it, and it almost tasted like a dessert. And then the next year when I made it and the kids heard that I put 1/2 cup of sugar in it, they decided they didn't want to eat it. So we're just going to eliminate the sugar in this part of it. And now we're going to add that egg, which is in that cup. All set to go, just dump it in. And then just continue mashing it.
Okay.
When I cook the potatoes, I put them in some kind of a pan like this, a pot, and slice them, put them in like warm water, hot water, and then just put it on high. And after it comes to a boil, put the lid on and boil them. When you're only using about 1 pound of potatoes, you can boil them for about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're already going to be cooked, especially when you slice them into about 1-inch slices, so they cook much faster. So we're doing a half a recipe. We're going to put them in an 8-inch pan. And the recipe calls for using a spray, like a vegetable spray, which I really don't like. I prefer butter. Okay, so I've got this buttered, and now butter's good. So you can just put that down, and you can just use a spatula and just put them all in.
Okay.
They really are so much better than the old recipe that I used with the canned yams. And what we would do with that would be to line your pan, with the yams, and a lot of extra juice water was in the can. And then we would just top them usually with brown sugar, pecans, and then when they were just about done, then you top them with marshmallows.
Oh.
But with this one, we avoid the marshmallows, and it's just a nice smooth.
So spread them out?
Spread them out.
So I was surprised to hear your kids didn't like the sugared up version.
Too much sugar.
Really?
Yeah, trying to cut down a little bit on the sugar.
I kind of like it when they taste like candy.
Well, you can never have enough butter, but sometimes the sugar, because we have so many other things too with the sugar.
So just sort of spread it in here like this?
Just get it spread like that. And now the best part actually is coming though, because we are going to take about, well, it's 3 tablespoons of flour. If you were doing a whole recipe, it'd be 1/3 of a cup.
Okay.
So 3 tablespoons of flour and 1/4 of a cup, no, I'm sorry, 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar with this one. And again, it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so you can just sprinkle a little bit of salt.
Now, you didn't measure before, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Just sprinkle a little bit in. That's good.
So get all the chunks.
Get
That's
all
why
the
you gave me the
chunks,
fork,
exactly. Right? Okay. So we are going to do the flour. Okay.
There might be a few chunks in here. Is that all right?
That's fine. Stir in the melted butter. Okay. Did you ever watch the movie Julie and Julia, or the Julia?
Yes, I actually have.
Julia Childs. Yeah. And she always says you can never have enough butter.
I like that.
So,
yep.
yeah, that's kind of our.
Our dairy farmers like it when you say stuff like that.
Exactly, real butter. This one was actually grassland butter that Gary just bought this week. So,
best.
yeah.
So make sure what? I mean,
so you just want to get the butter just mixed in with, you know, the flour mixture, and then we're going to just sprinkle that on top.
So this gives us our.
This gives you
topping.
that good topping.
Yeah.
So with that amount of sugar in there, you really don't need
Gotcha.
any more.
I can see why you wouldn't add more.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though I probably would.
So that should be good. So then you can just
okay.
sprinkle it out there.
So now
just kind of dump it and even it off.
Okay. Okay.
And then just spread that all out again.
Okay. As evenly as possible.
Evenly as possible.
All right.
And then the last item, which is one of the best things, is the pecans, and just sprinkle the pecans on top. And since I've cut up a few extra ones, we'll just
dump them in.
Dump those in, and that's 1/4 of a cup of pecans, and you can chop those. They don't have to be chopped real fine. I kind of like them when there's, you know, a little bit bigger. And then we are going to, you'll want your oven preheated to 350 degrees, and then you're going to bake your casserole for about 25 minutes or until golden brown. And when you bake it, it's going to be kind of bubbly around the edges.
Right.
And it's really good. My daughter-in-law and her mother are both vegetarians, so when they came the first time when we had made this, it really was like a dessert. So it's just a nice casserole. So Mike, when you're really hungry and you just can't wait for those sweet potatoes to get done, you can put them in the convection oven and they bake in about half the time. So I knew I wanted you to try them, and I knew that you're going to be busy tonight, so...
And I'm a guy, so half the time sounds good to me.
Exactly. So they are about done. They might not be as bubbly as normally, and to be safe, we always use,
good idea.
you know, some kind of mitts or something. So it's you know, it's pretty much done. They don't look too bad, you know. So if you have a convection oven, which lots of people do, then you would bake it at 25 degrees less. So at like 325 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. And this is the finished product. Oh, they are steaming, so is that a good amount for you?
Perfect.
You think?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not as hungry, so I'm just going to have a smaller amount.
Well, I don't want to.
Okay.
They look really hot.
Okay. Yeah, I've burned myself before, you know, on.
You burn yourself first, and then are they really hot?
No, they're not bad.
Oh, perfect.
So is this okay, Mike?
It's great.
So if you need the recipe, just go online or pick it up on the TV, and the recipe will be on there. So I hope you and all of the community of Marshfield has a very happy Thanksgiving, and from a slice of heaven, happy cooking.